Hey guys, I hope you're having a great week. Today I'm going to continue with my Moth / butterfly project, and I am showing you a technique that I do to make components for jewelry making. So if you haven't seen the last video, I will link it above, and I will also include it down in the description below. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to choose some beads. So I pulled out a couple of my favorite bead boxes, and I have my jewelry tools, and I have some chain and some head pins and some spacer beads, and I have a bead board to work on. Now, I usually don't use a bead board unless I'm doing a long beaded necklace, but I find that the gray background makes it pretty easy for you to see what I'm doing. So the first thing that I'm going to do after assembling everything is I'm going to take a look at my beads. Now, I know that I wanted to have some kind of a moonstone with maybe a little bit of a purple in my project, and that's just, my personal preference. It's what I chose. I pulled out my white stone box and I pulled out my purple bead box. And the first thing that I did was I cut a length of chain, and I didn't have one that I was happy with the tone that would exactly match my vintage silver finish, so I decided to try to add a patina to a silver plated chain that I had at home. It's kind of an inexpensive chain. It's not like solid sterling, but it's plated. And so I put a drop of patina down on my plate that I only use for patina. And I use a paintbrush and I kind of rub the patina on there a bit. I found that I needed to add a little bit more. Sometimes patina, if you've seen my other videos, will instantly turn, your silver black. And in this case, it kind of just got kind of grayish, a little bit black here and there. And I didn't want to leave it in too long, so just about a minute or two. And then I took it out and I washed it off with, under running water with some detergent and dried it completely. I'm using my chain nose pliers, I am using round nose pliers, and I'm using wire cutting pliers for this project. So you want to ready your tools. I have a clasp and some jump rings, and that's going to be to finish off my chain later. And I have some head pins and I have some wire for adding beads. And the little silver beads that I have there, I have like a little daisy spacer and a little round silver bead. So first I pulled out my white stone beads, which are mostly quartz crystal. I have some crystal points. I have some that are polished and some that are natural, and lots of moonstone in all different shapes. The thing that attracted me right away was the length and the shape of the raw crystal points. They are rough and they're not matching. They're really natural. They don't come in matching pairs or anything. They are just drilled. So I chose 2 of those and I strung them right on a head pin to make sure that they fit on my wire. And then I chose 2 of the round moonstone beads and then 2 of the disc moonstone beads. And those are just, to get started. And I set them aside on my bead board. Now I'm just collecting beads right now. I'm just choosing ones that I think I might use, and I'm setting them aside on my bead board. And then when I go to actually fabricate my project to put it all together, then I'll decide exactly what looks good to me and what I want to choose. So moving on to my pearl box, I chose 2 or 3 different sized pearls, and again I used the head pin to make sure that they fit on my wire, and then I set those aside on my bead board. Then I moved on to my purples and plums. I have some garnet. These tanzanite beads caught my attention. I thought, what a pretty color. It goes great with that silver. And these are very small beads. They're kind of expensive beads, and now I remember why I didn't use them. A lot of them aren't drilled fully or drilled completely, and it's very frustrating. I know that there's a way, you can use a bead reamer and you can, try to enlarge the holes, but they're so tiny, and I was disappointed because I paid a lot. I bought them through a major jewelry catalog. So yeah, I got a little frustrated with those, and I thought I'll just set those aside. And when you don't have a hole like that and it's a stone bead, you might think, well, I'll put it on, a piece of silk cord or something like that, but that'll often tear right through your cord. So you've got to be careful. And I found what I really wanted, which was this iolite. It's like a really smoky, It's a color between like a purplish and a bluish, and it reminds me of when you'd see something like an amethyst underwater. So it has that really cool mystical look, and I thought those are perfect. So I chose a few of those and I set those aside on my bead board as well. The last thing I pulled out was 2 faceted amethyst beads. They were either amethyst or fluorite. I think they're fluorite actually. And I'm going to start with the outside of my wing, and I drilled 2 holes on the bottom of each wing, and I drilled 1 hole on the top of each wing to attach a chain. And since I'm going to use these long crystals, I had to cut a piece of wire for each one. You cannot use a head pin because the hole is drilled horizontally. So I cut about a 5-inch piece of wire, I put it through there, I straightened it out, and then I bent the ends upward, and then I did the same thing with the second one. And to attach those to my wing, I'm going to just create a very simple wrapped loop with crossing the wires over to create an X, pulling one of the wires around kind of the center of that X. So I grab the wire, I bend it over with my chain nose pliers, I switch those out for my round nose pliers, and I create that loop. And then I'm just going to thread the end of the wire from my loop through the hole in the wing, and then I'm going to use my rosary pliers or my round nose pliers to hold my project, and then I'm going to use my hand to wrap that wire. Now it is kind of a thin wire that I'm using, it's not heavy, so I don't have to use pliers to wrap it. It is kind of a very delicate crystal with a delicate wire. So I'm just using my fingers and I'm making it kind of rustic. I'm not like doing like exact wraps one right after the other, but I am making it kind of neat. I'm not being sloppy with it. And then once I'm finished, I'll take my wire cutting pliers and I'll cut those ends off. Then you're going to feel to make sure there's no ends sticking up. And I'll press it down with my chain nose pliers. You don't want to poke yourself with the wire. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Now, I really like this technique and I hope you do too. I've gotten some pretty good feedback about it so far. I hope that you use it as a springboard for your own ideas. There are all different types of dies and there are all different types of embossing folders you can get. And, you know, experiment and create something and use them in ways that are new and create something unique that is just yours. So here I am finishing up the other wrap, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the first one. I'm going to hold it, and this time I'm holding it with my fingers instead of with the pliers, and using my other hand to take those tail ends of wire and wrap them around nice and tightly. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to take my wire cutting pliers and I'm going to cut off those tail ends of wire. Now that I have my 2 crystals attached, I can move on and choose my other beads that I want to hang from the other holes that are next to the crystals. So I'm going to take 2 silver head pins. They actually have a little ball in the end. They're very pretty. And I have some spacers, and I did cut some of this video out because I often try all different kinds of combinations with the beads that I have chosen. I'll take them off and say, no, maybe I want, you know, a pearl on the bottom or a white bead or a moonstone, or no, I want the, you know, the purple. So I do, you know, a lot of that. You would have had to sit here for probably an extra 20 minutes watching me do that, which you don't want to do. So I just left the important parts in. So like I said, I have those little silver spacer beads. They're nice for in between those saucer-shaped beads. I also have those very small little circle beads, and those work very nicely to break up your strand of beads. You want something in there, some kind of a separator, and it just makes it look better. It's prettier, it's more professional. So get some spacer beads on different sizes. And here I am deciding how I am using mine. And I have 2 types of moonstone. I have the one rainbow moonstone that's very white, and then I have another rainbow moonstone that is kind of a gray. So I don't know if it's more of like, you know, an A grade and a B grade, like it's a lower grade, or if it's just the tone. But I liked that color because I think it goes really good with the rustic look of my pendant. Now I'm going to hold up my bead strands as I'm working to decide, what looks good. I'm really happy with the way this is turning out, so I'm going to create wrapped loops just as I did before with the tops of the wires from these head pins into the holes that are on my butterfly wing. Now remember, I'm teaching you new techniques that I'm developing and I'm sharing with you, but the designs that I create in my videos and my jewelry designs are my own copyrighted designs, so I ask that you do not reproduce those, especially for sale. So use my ideas and my techniques as a springboard for your own ideas and your own designs. And like I always say, I'd love to see what you create. So here I am still fussing around with those bead strands, and I just want them to be perfect. I want them to look just the way that I am happy with, and I will fuss with it until I am completely satisfied. I thought, do I leave that purple one in or the white? And I went back and forth and I thought, it just needs that little bit of extra color. So although it looked very nice just with, the iolite and the white moonstone on the one side, I decided to add that little bit of purple, which is fluorite. And then once I have my colors chosen, usually what I will do first is I will choose the colors of the beads that I like, choose the particular beads. And then I spend a lot of time just moving them around in different positions on my wire. Like, do I want the little bead at the bottom or the larger bead at the bottom? Do I need the bright color at the top or the bottom? What kind of spacer do I want to use in between each bead? And that takes me a lot of time, and it's just very meditative. I find it very enjoyable. Sometimes I have combinations where I just can't decide, and I'm like, wow, it looks good both ways, and I'll just have to walk away for a couple minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll say, oh no, I really like, A better than B or whatever it is. And then I finally determined that I like the purple at the top. Now, when you start buying beads, you want to make sure that you have storage for them. So I strongly advise you get some bead storage boxes. You can organize them however you like. I like to organize mine by material and then by color. So I have boxes that will say purple, another box that says white, another box that says pink, and those are all stone beads. Then in another section, I may have another box that says purple and another box that says white, but those are all like glass and crystal beads. So I separate my beads by material first, and then I organize them by color. So here I am finishing this up. I made a wrapped loop. So just as I had done before, I insert the end of the wire through the hole in the butterfly, and I'm going to hold it with one hand with my pliers, and then in my other hand I'll use my chain nose pliers to grab that little end of wire and wrap it around just 2 or 3 times. You want it to be nice and secure, and I have a shorter end of wire with these head pins as opposed to the long piece of wire that I used with the quartz crystal points. So I did have to, make my wraps a little neater, 1, 2, 3, and then cut off whatever little end of wire was left on there. And then if you need to straighten them out, I just kind of bend it a little bit, and you can straighten out your head pin if it gets a little bent while you are doing your wrapping. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. You can see that one moonstone has a nice flash to it. I can see some blue and some turquoise and some green and purple. What a pretty stone. I've always loved it. It's always been one of my favorites. So finally, I have all the beads on my butterfly / Luna Moth, and I am very happy with it. I think it turned out great. And all we have to do now is add our chain. And I'm using a long piece of chain that I measured. I just put it kind of around my neck, and I measured for how long I wanted it on myself. And I have some jump rings. And I'm going to open those jump rings up, insert one of the ends of chain into one jump ring, and then I'm going to thread the jump ring through one of the holes on top of the butterfly wing. Then I will grab my other pliers and I will close that up. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side, using another small jump ring. I'm going to use my pliers to open it up. You always grip it with 2 hands. You want to grip with one plier in each hand, and you always go one toward you and one away from you when you turn it. You never pull like the jump ring apart, or you'll never get it back together. And I attached my chain and I put it through the hole in the butterfly, and again I'm going to grab another pair of pliers and close that right up. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to pull the chain out and then find where the center is, and I'm going to snip it, and that's where I'm going to add my clasp. So once again, I'm just opening a jump ring, putting it on one side of the chain, putting a clasp on, closing it up, then taking a second jump ring, opening it up, putting it on the other end of chain as the catch for the clasp. I'm going to hook it through there, and then I'm going to use a second pair of pliers to close that jump ring up. And I also should mention, you should always check that your clasp works before you put it on your chain. I've on occasion run across a bum clasp every once in a while that didn't work right, and then I had to take it apart. So here is my necklace. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed this project. Like I said before, use it as a springboard for your own designs. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the little bell next to the subscribe button so you can be the first to know when I release a new video. I release a new video about every Friday and sometimes in between, so be sure to check back and see what I have coming up next. I have all different kinds of creative jewelry projects and art projects, and I hope you join me for some more great videos. Make sure you check out my jewelry playlist where you can learn all different techniques of jewelry making and soft soldering. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.